Why we feel lost in life even when everything looks fine. Have you ever looked around at your life and thought, everything seems okay, so why do I still feel lost? Why do I feel tired, disconnected, or restless even when nothing is obviously wrong? I think a lot of people are living with this feeling right now. On the outside, life looks normal. You wake up, answer messages, go to work, scroll on your phone, laugh at a few videos, maybe meet some people, maybe not. Everything keeps moving. But inside, something feels off. Something feels missing. And the hardest part is that you can't always explain it. You are not falling apart. You are not weak. You are not broken. You might simply be living too far away from yourself. Today I want to talk about why so many people feel lost in modern life, even when life looks fine from the outside. And more importantly, how to slowly find your way back. The first reason we feel lost is because we are constantly busy but rarely present. Modern life gives us endless stimulation. Notifications, content, opinions, pressure, comparison, deadlines, and noise. Our attention is being pulled in every direction all the time. And when your attention is always outside of you, you slowly lose contact with what is happening inside of you. A lot of people think being busy means being productive. But being busy can also be a form of escape. Sometimes we stay busy because silence feels uncomfortable. Sometimes we keep moving because stopping would force us to feel things we have ignored for too long. So we fill our days. We distract ourselves. We scroll, consume, react, and repeat. And then one day we wonder why we feel empty. It's because a full schedule is not the same as a full life. You can be surrounded by activity and still feel emotionally absent from your own existence. That is why some of the most exhausted people are not the ones doing the hardest physical work. They are the ones carrying invisible mental noise every single day. The second reason we feel lost is because we are trying to live by borrowed definitions of success. From a very young age, most of us are taught what a good life is supposed to look like. Study hard. Get a job. Earn money. Look successful. Stay attractive. Keep up. Don't fall behind. And none of these things are automatically bad. The problem starts when you build your whole identity around expectations that never truly came from you. A lot of people are climbing ladders they never chose. And then when they reach the top, they don't feel fulfilled. They feel confused. Because achievement without alignment creates emptiness. You can reach a goal and still feel disconnected if the goal was never connected to your real values. This is one of the quietest tragedies in adult life. Spending years becoming someone impressive only to realize you do not feel like yourself anymore. Sometimes being lost is not a sign that you failed. Sometimes it is a sign that you have outgrown a version of life that no longer fits you. That feeling of inner discomfort might not be there to punish you. It might be there to guide you. The third reason we feel lost is because we have become strangers to stillness. Stillness is difficult now. Not because it is bad, but because it reveals things. When you sit quietly with no music, no scrolling, no entertainment, no conversation, you start noticing what is really going on inside you. You notice the anxiety. You notice the sadness. You notice the pressure. You notice the dreams you abandoned. You notice the questions you have been avoiding. And for many people, that is scary. But here is the truth. You cannot hear your own inner voice if your life is too loud. A lot of clarity does not come from thinking harder. It comes from becoming quiet enough to notice what has been true all along. Sometimes the answer is not hidden. It is just buried under noise. And this is why many people feel lost. Not because they have no direction, but because they have no space to listen. So what do we do about it? How do we begin to feel like ourselves again? I think the first step is to stop expecting one dramatic answer. Most people think clarity arrives like lightning. One big moment. One life-changing realization. One perfect plan. But real clarity usually comes in smaller ways. It comes when you admit the truth. It comes when you say, I am not okay with how I have been living. It comes when you notice what drains you. It comes when you finally name what matters to you. It comes when you start making smaller, honest choices. Clarity is often built, not found. The second step is to create small moments of reconnect-ion. That might mean sitting alone for 10 minutes without your phone. It might mean journaling honestly. It might mean walking without music. It might mean asking yourself simple questions like, what have I been pretending not to feel? What am I doing only to impress others? What gives me energy? What makes me feel alive? What kind of life would feel peaceful even if nobody praised it? These questions are powerful because they bring you back to your own center. And I think that is what many people need right now. Not more advice. Not more noise. Not more motivation. They need reconnect-ion. The third step is to accept that feeling lost is part of being human. We often treat confusion like failure. But confusion can be a transition. It can mean your old identity is fading. It can mean your priorities are changing. It can mean your soul is asking for a more honest life. You do not need to panic every time you feel uncertain. Sometimes uncertainty is just the beginning of a deeper truth. Sometimes life feels unclear because you are in the middle of becoming someone new. And that process rarely looks clean or confident. It looks messy. It looks slow. It looks like questioning things. It looks like changing your mind. It looks like stepping back before stepping forward. That is normal. So if you have been feeling lost lately, maybe this is what you need to hear. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to match anyone else's timeline. You do not need to force meaning where there is only pressure. You do not need to keep performing a life that no longer feels like yours. Maybe what you need is not a new identity. Maybe what you need is a return. A return to your values. A return to your inner voice. A return to stillness. A return to honesty. Because sometimes the way forward is not about becoming more. It is about coming back to what is real. And maybe that is the true work of adulthood. Not just building a life that looks good, but building one that feels true. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, or whenever you get a quiet moment, ask yourself one question. Am I living in a way that feels real to me, or am I just staying busy enough not to notice? That question alone can change a lot. And if life has felt confusing lately, take a deep breath. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not alone. You may simply be at the point where your deeper self is asking for a more honest life. And that is not the end of the road. That is the beginning.